Dear audience, we will now show you tactical shit.
Okay, let's go.
God damn, the recoil on this thing!
This is a pump action.
Counter-terrorists win.
So that's how this rifle works. What can I say? Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This episode contains sponsored items. Before you go, subscribe, like, and comment. Click the bell if you want notifications of new episodes.
Now, for those of you who don't remember, this bar here is 6 centimeters tall, and at 600 meters that equals exactly 1 click on the scope, which means the ballistics need to be absolutely perfect for me to hit this. Finding the perfect cartridge for this is quite easy. 1, you usually have a legal minimum you need to observe. 2, you need a local supply. 3, choose the cheapest option. 6.555, half the price of everything else, and you can get the match ammunition everywhere. Copper bullets, same caliber for the birds. Blunt, full metal jacket. Almost all the cartridges in this category will do roughly the same. And just to illustrate how similar they are, I'm going to shoot this 6.555 at the ballistic bar using the 6XC data. So that's 582. Turn the trigger cam on. And recording. So that's the bar. The focus. And it's exactly 1 scope click. Check natural point of aim. Closing. Open. Way off to the side. Means I have to move. Closing. Open. Same side. I'm gone. Good. So that's just below. Same elevation. So if we measure this, it's a 2-click difference. So this turret was calibrated for my 6XC, and I just dialed 582 without making any correction. And I was only 2 clicks low with the 6.555. So very similar ballistic. I hope that was a clear enough demonstration that the normal mat cartridges do more or less the same. The trajectory was almost the same. At 600 meters, we had quite literally this much difference between the two cartridges, 6XC and 6.555. Now, for windcall, it's going to be even closer, so you can use the same procedures for more or less all of them. Anyway, yesterday's image quality wasn't the best, so I'm out again and will redo some of the same things. Difference today, I'm going to use the Kestrel, I'm going to use the smartphone, and I'm going to set up the trajectory and use the ballistic throwing function. Select the rifle, and I've already created a profile for the ammunition. Now, the range is 582. The Kestrel tells me the temperature is 16 degrees and the pressure is 979. Okay, so that's 40 click suggested from the Ballistic app. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Add 10, 17. add 10, 27, add 10, 37, 38, 39, 40. Now, my BDC turret says now 560, and I know for a fact that that's not the right answer. And we saw yesterday that we were hitting low. We have approximately the same condition. So now I have 44 on the turret compared to what the ballistic solver says, which is 40. Let's see how that goes on the ballistic bar. And remember the lesson from last season? Trigger finger 90 degrees, fold the grip in, find a place with the thumb and hook the rifle in. So I have wind and I can see the mirage moving left to right. I just hold on the side of the plate, checking natural point of aim. Breathe. Okay, so we are shooting over. Same hole. Now, that shooting is consistent enough to start clicking the scope. So, we'll just measure it on the emerald scale here. And we can see that we are exactly 2 clicks high. So that was on the bar. Go in here, ballistic calibration, range 1582. So what the program does now is it adjusts the muzzle velocity. And once I've done the ballistic calibration, I can trust what the computer says. So I'll just go in again. I'll put in 1000 meters. And I'll use the same calibration on the turret. 970. Going to make it 10. Trajectory. Now I'll put this trajectory into my notebook, and after I'm done with that, I will no longer need this. And the reason I want it in paper is that I want an easy reference, because you do get tired, you do make mistakes. Now, the Kestrel is a great tool for measuring the wind, but at this stage I don't want you to buy anything like that. Now, the targets behind me are spaced out between 400 and 600 meters. For those ranges, you don't have to buy gear to follow this season's tutorial, okay? Focus on marksmanship skill and learn the principle of wind. Now, this is my rear bag. Where will it go if I open the hand? Anyone? Where will this rear bag go when I open my hand? Third time. No. If you need a third time to understand this principle, this YouTube series might not be for you. Because of gravity, always, if you ever arrive at any other answer, it's wrong. It's the same with the bullet and the wind. If you have wind, it's going to affect the bullet. No matter how fancy the ammunition, the wind will always affect the path of the bullet. If the wind comes from this side, the bullet will start moving this way. If the wind comes from this side, the bullet will start drifting this way. That will always happen regardless of what bullet you do. It's only the magnitude that's different. So the only thing I will deal with now is if the wind is left or right. And I'm feeling the wind on my hand. It feels like it's coming in from the left. And when I'm looking up at the clouds, it's going to the left. It's the same on the cheeks, it's coming in from this side. Okay, so we have established the wind comes in from the left, which means we're going to hold into that way. So this is the target we'll be monitoring. Now, the yellow center here is 15 centimeters, and that's the standard we seek to achieve regardless of distance. So this is a very crude technique and it's more a coping mechanism, but that's what we'll start with for now. We're not going to do any ballistics. You just need to acknowledge that the wind will always affect the bullet and determine if it comes from the right or the left. And then you hold your crosshair a little into the wind, to the right or to the left, depending on where the wind comes. We're going to take out this fancy notebook and we'll scribble it down and see what we can learn from that. And I'm not going to do anything fancy, and I'm just going to have a look at the target and I'm going to plot the approximate location. That was the first miss. That was the other miss. I'll just leave it at that. If you followed last year's online shooting school, you shouldn't have any vertical. Everything should be along this band. Okay, so that's it for today. Nothing complex, but you really need to acknowledge that wind will move your bullet. Okay, I want you to look out and tell me if it's a light, medium, strong, or very strong wind. There's no right or wrong answer. There is. I want your expert opinion. Just take a guess. Is this a light, medium, strong, or very strong wind? We'll call that a light wind. Now, range is 380. I can see my fancy chart that should be 18 plus 1. Just shy of 400. Now, we can actually see the mirage moving left to right, and we have determined that this is a light wind. Now, because this is such a short range, we're just going to do it very simple. Just hold slightly off to the side and acknowledge that we have wind drift. Not much, just going to hit right to the side of the crosshair. So that's basically a center at 400. Just by focusing on simple techniques, you can get away with quite good results at a decent range. Hello! This is of course only possible with LRB ammunition. The best you can get. Ha ha ha! Don't use these fancy tools. Have a basic understanding of your trajectory. Use LRB. Not really. Use the cheapest match cartridge. Don't overcomplicate wind. Determine left or right. Acknowledge that wind happens every time. And focus on shooting. Now it's going to be natural point of aim. Determine left or right. And hold so. That's a lovely sound. Okay, so let's sum up this episode. Sometimes people try to talk. Sometimes people try to blah 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 blah. Pick the cheapest match cartridge, go out and shoot, and that's going to help you a lot more than any cartridge head stamp. Good luck with your shooting.
Subscribe to the THLR channel by clicking the left logo icon, so you'll be shooting straighter than a drunk skunk before the sun shines over northern Norway.